Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's video. So my name is Max, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be reviewing the Galil SAR by CYMA. So I'm going to just go ahead and give you the full ins and outs of this particular airsoft rifle, and hopefully you'll learn something about it, and maybe you'll want to buy it, because to me this is one of the coolest airsoft rifles that I've gotten. There's quite a few on my list, but this one has definitely been a favorite of mine, and I'm loving every bit of it. So let's get into this review, guys. Alrighty, so up close is what you will receive right out of the box. So obviously the gun itself is going to be the first thing. It does come folded up, so since it has the folding stock here, again, just for shipping purposes, because it does kind of shorten the length of the gun to package easily. And then excluding the battery, you also get a very long jam rod, you get a pack of BBs, and then you also get this little key here, which from what I understand, I didn't know at first when I unboxed this, but that's actually for adjusting your sights apparently. So if that is correct, please just let me know if that is, because somebody did tell me, so I'm going to just kind of go off of their word on that. I assumed it was a hop-up key, but it does not appear to be the case here. But anyway, here's kind of just a quick glance up close of this Galil by CYMA. So we're going to go ahead and get into the more informative bit of it now. So let's get on to the next segment. Alrighty, so as you guys saw, the gun basically will come as is out of the box, with the exception of two items. So if you just buy the gun itself, it will only arrive as just the gun itself. It will not come with the battery or the charger. However, they do have a I guess a prompt available for this particular gun to choose at the checkout, like at the checkout or whatever. You can pick if you want to add the battery and the charger with it. So again, they are at an extra cost. The gun itself I purchased from evike.com for about $212. The battery and the charger probably add an extra $40 to the total cost. So I already have the battery and the charger, so I didn't feel the need to do so. For this particular AEG, you will need to use an 8.4 volt stick battery, or a tube battery, I forgot what these are called, but these are more so kind of like the rarer batteries. I don't really see those being used quite frequently, and I'll kind of touch on kind of where that goes and the reasoning behind why we need to use a stick battery for this Galil by CYMA. So going on to the next bit of things, a lot of this material is just extremely well crafted. I mean, this has very hefty weight to it at about 11 pounds with the battery inside. It is made most of all by some kind of a metal. The grips themselves are going to be kind of like a very high grade polymer. It's almost, it has like a rubberized texture to it, so it's quite a very comfortable design. Same with the hand grip itself, made of the same material, and then the rest of this is going to be basically all metal. The stock itself is going to be fully metal. The mock charging handle, the upper receiver, the barrel, the magazine, the trigger guard, all of this and the selector switch is all going to be metal. So again, for the price of right around $200, you're getting a pretty high quality Galil, and I mean, it's very good for the affordable, airsoft gun for the beginning airsofters. In my opinion, definitely a very awesome gun. The power in it itself is very, very consistent. It does kind of alter in range between 360 FPS to as high as 420 FPS based on the stats of this particular gun. For the magazine itself, it is going to be a wind-up mag. It's going to hold a total of about 430 BBs. So again, very nice capacity. It's quite typical with AEGs. They usually have an extremely large ammo capacity as opposed to the green gas counterparts that exist in the airsoft world. But again, very awesome. Lots of ammo, and you can't go wrong with that. And again, here's the magazine, just kind of an up-close view on it. There is some stamping on the bottom of it as well. Historically, the Galil is made from Israel, as you can see, there is some stamping with Israeli letters in there, and then IWIX. I'm not quite sure the meaning of this. Maybe you guys who know a little bit more with Galils can maybe explain what that stamping indicates. But again, it's going to be quite straightforward magazine. It's got a very nice build to it with the wind up on the bottom. And then, of course, for the BB reservoir, it is the flip top. And then you can fill it up to about 430 BBs. And you are good to go on that. Again, pretty nice capacity for this Galil. Now let's talk about the sights for this particular gun. I noticed it's a little bit unique. You do have the traditional sights that the Galil typically would have, and then here's the one for the front there. It's kind of hard to see, but so that's the front. And with the front, you can actually flip this up and down. So if you wanted to just use the one in the middle here, you can, or you can use the much larger one with the white dot. Again, it's more visually appealing because you can see the white a lot easier than the little black piece that's there. But again, you have two options with your sights, which is interesting with this gun. And then, oh, it's fallen over a little bit, and then here's the other sights here. With the white dot sights, these flip down, so if you did want to use the smaller ones that are here, based off of distance, you can flip it up or down, or you can put it in a neutral position, and then you can continue to use these sights if you choose to do so. So again, down the line, it looks very good, especially with the white. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in a little bit. Well, there we go. So again, it'll fall in line. I just have my phone resting on the actual stock of the rifle, so that's why it looks a little bit raised. But anyway, the sights I think are very well done on this gun. They're extremely accurate just based off of my testing with this particular AEG rifle. Very, very good quality, and the accuracy is quite incredible. Again, it's about 360 to 360 to 420 FPS with the 0.2 gram BBs. The stock for this particular gun is, again, extremely well built. It has a very strong, just, I guess, swiveling action. And it's very interesting with this particular folding stock. When you want to fold it, you have to push down on it so it kind of recedes downward. And then from there, it will allow you to pivot and then allow you to turn and then bring it to the gun. So again, that drastically decreases the length of the gun, more so for packaging reasons, for carrying, you know, maybe for style or whatever. Whatever it really is, the option is there. And then here again, it's kind of like the backside view. Just a very sturdy looking build for this stock. I'm very impressed with it. Again, CYMA did a really awesome job with it. And then just to pull it back to its home, all you really need to do is just pull back towards you, and then it'll feel kind of snug, but it'll go on its own. And then from there, just carry it around, and you're going to see this joint pop back up because it's going to lock into place. So as you saw there, and now it's back to the traditional Galil size. And again, it's very smooth, very well built. You could just tell in the quality. It's incredible. One other thing that I can really appreciate with this is just the satisfaction of putting in a magazine into this thing. I don't know, to me, it's just the most, like, smoothest, like, click in the world. I don't know, it just feels really interesting. So you put it in like a traditional AK magazine, and then it sits in so snug. Like, there is no wobble in this at all. It's incredible. I just thought I'd kind of share that. That's something you'll notice with this. When you put the magazine in, it is just a very smooth insertion, and taking it out is just as simple. It's very awesome. And then you guys might have noticed that the main body of the actual gun has quite a similarity to the AKs. So as you can see, the selector switch is the traditional AK selector switch. So typically you would see the Russian lettering here for fire, for semi-auto and full auto, and then you don't really see anything for safety on the AKs. But in this case, it literally has SAR. So that's kind of the title to this gun itself. It's the Galil SAR by CYMA. So I don't quite know what the letterings really represent, but from what I can understand, the A is maybe for full auto, and for the R, for this, when you're in this selected switch, it's more so for just semi-automatic. The middle is for full auto, and then of course the top here, the S, almost represents safety from what I can understand. So this indicates that it is on safe. The trigger will not engage. As you can see, I'm pressing it, nothing's going. And then if we put it to, for example, auto, the trigger goes all the way back and will fire the gun, but there's no battery in it, so no worries on that. So this also acts as a dust cover for the real thing. So as you can see, when we expose it, when we're in any of the other firing modes, it will expose this this portion here, so then the bolt can travel all the way to the end. But again, in the real world, this acts as a dust cover as well, and will prevent the trigger from activating and from the bolt to doing a full travel. So also touching on the bolt itself, it is more so just a mock charging handle. You can pull it back. Let me just do it to make sure the gun doesn't slide. And you can pull this thing like basically all the way back. Oh, something seems to be obstructing it in there. So sorry about that, it was just stuck a little bit. But anyway, so you can see this is as far as the mock charging handle will go. Inside you can see the battery connector, which we'll talk on in a bit with connecting the battery up. And then from in here, you can see the barrel, and then you can perform your hop-up adjustments, as hop-up is adjustable on this Galil. So the only other thing that's kind of annoying, and I've noticed this too with my other CYMA AK-47, is just the amount of pressure needed to move this selector switch up and down. It is very, very tough. Granted, it's still new, but even on my AK that I've had for almost 4 years, it's still pretty stiff. And again, that kind of says a lot with their construction. It's very just tight, sturdy, and nothing wobbles on this gun, which I love. You know, it's a very good quality. Again, CYMA did an awesome job on it. So since we've been seeing the other side of the gun for the most part, I thought I'd flip it over and just show you guys the other side. So there's nothing exciting really going on here. The only thing that's kind of interesting is there is a kind of selector switch on your, like, basically you can control it from your thumb here whenever you're holding the rifle. From what I understand, I think this is supposed to be like ambidextrous, or just kind of like another area to switch your firing modes. For this one, however, it looks to be just part of the lower frame. It's not anything that actually functions, but you can see the letters SAR on there as well. So just kind of thought I'd point that out. Again, the stamping and the bolts look almost identical to what an AK would typically look like. You have your sling mounts here as well, and then you have your sling mounts right here in the front of the barrel. And then you can see that there is a stamping on here. This is more so probably CYMA's stamping. It doesn't have a lot of trademarks really on this thing. The only thing, again, like I mentioned, is the stamping on the magazine, but everything else is pretty straightforward. The one thing too that is very nice is they actually kept this tip, and they didn't put anything obnoxious for the orange tip on, which is really nice. All they had was a little cap, which is easy to remove, and it doesn't scratch or damage anything for that flash hider. So that's what I do like with CYMA. They know that these things come off, so they kind of put it there again to pass their inspections. But again, it's easy to take off, and it's quite quite a nice thing on their end, so it doesn't scratch anything. Alrighty, so now we'll get into the part with how to insert the battery in this thing. Again, you're going to have to go with the 8.4 volt stick battery like this. This is going to be the best option for this particular airsoft rifle. You can't really use a block battery or the nunchucks. It does not work. I've tried both. Again, this is just more so due to the top piece of it being very narrow, so it can't really hold anything else. But what you'll do first, again, this is almost like field stripping an AK. So you have a button right here on the back, and all you need to do is just put your hand on the top and press this button, and then from there it's going to release the top portion of it. So as you can see, here's basically the cover for the top, and the sights will be attached to it. So as you can see, it is quite narrow inside. If we were to put the battery in here, you know, like it already takes up a good amount of space, so nothing else much can really fit in here. But now you'll have the top portion of the gun exposed again. You can see the spring here, and you can see the mock charging handle, and the spring kind of retracts back when it's being pushed. I've noticed that this part can even come out, so if you did want to take this this charging handle out for whatever reason, it seems like it's quite easy, but again, you would need this button, but you can actually take this spring out. There's like a screw in here to take all of this out from what it looks like. And then inside, you'll have your connecting prongs here for the battery. So it's quite long, as you can see. There's decent amount of room. It kind of hides more so in that gas tube. The front end of the battery will kind of go in there as much as it can. The way that I've kind of figured out how to put it in the easiest is I will tuck this black connector piece in, and then I'll try to push in the wire into the gas tube as much as I possibly could. So then right now it'll look like this, so you can just see the connector exposed. So right now what I'll do is I'll take my stick battery, go ahead and connect the two pieces together, and then once it's connected, again, you can see that it kind of hangs over the button, so we would not be able to close this right now. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to push in this connector, and let me kind of give you guys a better view because I just realized it's kind of being hidden by the charging handle. So let me pull this back in there. Okay, so now essentially here's what you're going to look at. So you can see I pushed the connector all the way into the gas tube, so it slid all the way in here, and now you can see the battery is sitting pretty much flush with the gun. That button's exposed, so now this means that we can put the cover on. Again, it's a little tricky. I've noticed this to be kind of the negative piece of the gun itself, but again, not a huge deal breaker. So once you get the battery, make sure that you put this end first before you click it in. So you have to kind of make sure it kind of goes flush into the gas tube, and then just start applying pressure to it until the rear button basically retracts and closes the cover. So as you can see, now we got it closed. The battery's flush in there, and you're good to go. So again, it's a little bit of a 1, 2, 3 step process to get it in here. Unfortunately, it's not just a plug in and go. It does require just a little bit of an effort. So not a huge deal. I mean, it definitely can be a pain when you're trying to change batteries on this thing when you're in the middle of a game. But from what I've noticed, this thing, it definitely is quite efficient with its battery. The motor itself is kind of like a torquey motor, and it doesn't use a lot of energy, so it really does keep the battery going for a good while. So that's kind of the quick go-to with how to get that battery installed into the Galil. Alrighty, so now that we kind of got a overview of the Galil itself and everything about it, I'm just going to go ahead and start bringing this to kind of like the conclusion portion of the video. So just kind of my thoughts on this Galil. I mean, right out of the gate, I think it's the greatest thing ever because as you guys know too, this is from the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, so this is why it's a unique gun to me and why I've always wanted to get a Galil, because I've been a huge fan of the actual Call of Duty zombie games. And just overall, I have been a fan of CYMA for a while, and the products are great. They left a really just a great like mark, honestly, on my end, because I think they're really great. Their products are very sturdy, very great quality, very affordable. The key word affordable there, because I mean for this it was $210, and I mean you could use like their free ship or something on the website for a promo and you get free shipping on it. So you spend $210 on the gun itself and you're good to go, because this thing is ready to fire out of the box. Again, the only exception is just the battery and the charger. Those are sold separately. So just an FYI, make sure you pay attention to that when you're checking out, or if you do have battery and charger, then you're good, no worries. You know, I already had that, so I didn't need to buy that. But just overall, it's just has an awesome power to it, very consistent FPS, very nice large mag capacity. Again, this is something I would recommend too for beginners slash intermediate airsofters, because for the price point it's pretty good. The power, the capacity, the build quality is very nice. It's just amazing. The only, if I had a downside to share with you, is just that battery compartment only being able to take the 8.4 volt stick battery. That's kind of my only thing that I don't like. I mean, I could kind of do it the getaway, and okay, I can take the what's it called? I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, charging handle, sorry. If I take that out, and I could probably take the connector through the opening here and then just tape it to the gun, and you know, I could do like a block battery, like something stronger, I don't know. I could do that, but again, I like to keep the gun looking flush and clean. I like everything to be covered, so that's not something that I really want to do. But again, for those of you, make sure you get a stick battery for this, as I showed in the video. Otherwise, none of the other batteries will work for this. Again, it's just too narrow. So that's kind of one of my downsides with this. But again, it's very, very small, and it's not a deal breaker for me at all. To me, the gun itself is incredible. It is worth every dollar that I had spent on this. And to me, this is just awesome. And I'm just sharing that with you guys because you will not regret it. And again, it's cool. Honestly, I love it. I've been a fan of the AK platform. This really resembles it to T, basically, because it's quite the same experience, the same handle, you know, the same selector switch and all that. You know, it's very, very nice. And to me, I think it was one of those things that inspired me to get it, and also because it's in Black Ops. So anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy that review of the CYMA Galil SAR. If you guys do have any other questions that you feel I didn't touch on in this video, please let me know in the comments below. You could even send me a message through YouTube. Doesn't matter. Just let me know. I'm curious. I can answer your questions then. And for those of you just joining in, have never seen my videos, welcome and thanks for watching. Definitely check out my channel. I have a ton of stuff airsoft related. You'll definitely like it. And then, yeah, guys, comment, share, like this video. And if you like airsoft content, subscribe. It's going to be more coming down the pipe. Shooting demo for this is going to be coming soon, so just stay tuned for that. Peace, guys. Thanks.